Hi, I'm Lloyd, and along with my brother and business partner Dan, I'm the co-host of the Business Anchors podcast. Today we're discussing something a lot of us are fearful of. Change. It's the fear of that unknown, the fear that things could get worse. I think that's why people don't accept change.
The moments when you do push yourself through that unknown and through that fear, you make the biggest steps forward.
See, there's nothing to be afraid of, and if you're a new listener, I'd like to invite you to embrace the change of this new listening experience. I was really against change when I was younger, and it's definitely been a process to embrace it. But I think because the more and more I've been open to changing and trying new things, the more and more positive things have happened.
So then you're learning from experience.
I'm completely the other end of the scale and very open to embracing change and doing things in different ways. As Taylor Swift says in her 2008 hit, things will change. Can you feel it now? These walls that they put up to hold back will fall down.
Remember when you wanted an eyebrow ring?
I wanted my eyebrow pierced, yes. I think when I was 14, I wanted my eyebrow pierced. Okay then, noted. Not all change is good. Got it.
And he's gone in there and driven change. And I actually, he gave me the three P's of driving change. The third P... innovation.
That's an interesting use of letters there.
That's what I said to Dad when he told me.
Okay, so the 3 P's of change management will now be known as the 2 P's, but I'm open to that change. There'll be more of those nuggets of businessy goodness throughout episode 37 of the Business Anchors podcast.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long.
Why do people not like change? Great answer, Lloyd.
Thank you. I thought I'd start with a bang. I actually do have an answer.
Go on.
I think people don't like change because it's the fear of the unknown. So if you don't change, you know exactly what's happening. It's just the same as always happens. And if you do change, there's potential that you're going to do something that makes your life much worse.
Yeah.
And obviously there's potential the other way, but I think it's the fear of that unknown, the fear that things could get worse. I think that's why people don't accept change.
But do you know what I think?
No. I would like to hear that.
Yeah, good. Well, listen then, shut up.
Okay, cool.
I think that the moments when you do push yourself through that unknown and through that fear, you make the biggest steps forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if you just carried on doing everything and nothing scared you, or you just did what you always did, you wouldn't grow.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, why don't you change then?
I'm always changing.
Change your career.
No.
Change your partner. Change your business partner. Change your attitude, more importantly.
Oh, I don't blow it out of context.
Well, no, I'm saying I change. Go on then.
I'm not,
Prove it.
I changed lots of things, but
Called you bluff, haven't I?
No, but I'm constantly changing the way we do things, the way I think about things, the way I see things in the world. I think as you go through life, the experiences you have also open up that change. Because you experience different things. You may have an opinion on something until you go through and experience it, or something to do with that opinion. You don't actually know. So then
it's much easier. I'm talking in business and in life. I think it's much easier to be open to change once you've done it. Once you have been open to change. But if you go through a few things and you're like, I was a bit worried about doing that, and then I did it. And then good stuff happened. I think it gets easier and easier because you're like, good stuff happens when I do.
So I've got a question for you.
Okay.
So I said I change, and I think you definitely change things up, constantly question things.
Yeah.
You just said that you need to get confidence, you need to actually do it, and then it'll build your confidence. What if someone's listening or watching, and they're thinking, I really want to make change, but it's scary, and what's pushed you to make change? Why don't you just live the easy life? And
I do mostly.
Yeah, I know you do.
This is a good question. I think it's for the listeners that don't know, when I was a little boy, little chubby Lloyd, little chubby tanned Lloyd,
with a soft tash when you were 12.
Yeah, I was very shy, very reluctant to try new things.
Mrs. Lower's magic tissues.
Yeah, my first. I was going to say first grade teacher, then I realised I'm not American. Reception, we call it in the UK. Teacher used to give me magic tissues because I cried anytime anyone spoke to me. Later found out they were actually standard Kleenex tissues, so it's absolute bullshit. Cheers, Mrs. Lowers. Broke my trust there. So I was really, and that was when I was like 4 or 5 years old, but I think from that point, for a number of years, I didn't try anything new. I wouldn't change anything. I'd just do the same old thing I did, because I was scared of everything. Basically, I think. I don't know. I remember thinking in my head, people would be like, mates when you're a kid. Oh, do you want to do this
really fun
bike
thing?
jump or something? And I think in my head, yeah, I do. And out of my mouth, they would say, no, I'm all right. And then the rest of the day, I'd be thinking, why didn't I try that thing? Or why didn't I? Or like, at barbers, oh, do you want to try this new hairstyle? No, I'll continue with my crap one, thanks.
Yeah.
And then I'll walk out thinking, oh, I wish I had that night tick in the back of my head like my mates. Do you remember that being a thing?
Yeah.
That's
Mum and Dad never let us I really wanted slits in the side of my head, but Mum and Dad wouldn't let me.
Well, now, you know what, Dan? Now you're an adult. You can do it.
Remember when you wanted an eyebrow ring?
I wanted my eyebrow pierced, yes. I think when I was 14, I wanted my eyebrow pierced. And I remember my granddad giving me a £10 note when he visited, and then my mum said, oh, Lloyd's saying he wants his eyebrow pierced. And my granddad said, well, I'll have that £10 back if you're getting an eyebrow pierced. And I thought, oh, I prefer to have the 10. How do we get to this? Right, so
Change.
I see. So I was really against change when I was younger, and it's definitely been a process to embrace it. But I think because the more and more I've been open to changing and trying new things, the more and more positive things have happened.
So then you're learning from experience.
Now I'm completely the other end of the scale and very open to embracing change and doing things in different ways. Although I still think my natural thing, and I think this is the case for most people, is, oh, you got two options. Do this thing you always do, or do this thing that's new. I think my initial thoughts are always, do that same thing then.
Yeah.
I guess that just saves you brain energy. Otherwise, there'll be so many options in life constantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's why I've embraced it, because it's been more and more positive the more.
What about business and change? What do you think in our business? What do you think's changed, and how have we dealt with that change? 'Cause I think this could be quite useful to other businessy people who are thinking, oh, there's change going on in our business and we need to figure it out. Is there anything?
So everything has changed. I think if you think back to how we worked, who we're working with, what we do as work, what we charge, literally every aspect of everything changes.
Yeah.
I think in a growing small business, which we're in, I think in reality my job role has changed
Completely.
every 3 to 6 months. I basically feel like I have a new job. Because when we first started, I was basically salesperson, video edit, everything.
Awful salesperson.
Awful salesperson.
Trying to give away our services for free.
Awful video editor. Awful everything. And then I became kind of, video editor. Then I was,
web designer.
Yeah, web designer. And then I was kind of, I'm just a bit of a digital creative, really. Making lots of different things. And then I was, and now I'm much more managing of people and projects and trying to drive the business forward. And I'm not hands-on. And it's,
completely
and in
changed.
6 months it'll be different again. So I think in a growing business, the biggest change is what you do day to day and what you're.
How do you deal with that change though? When a new fire comes in front of you or something needs to change within the business, how do you overcome it without breaking down and imploding?
I think it's weighing up the thing of, right, what are the chances of this change being positive? Oh, there's a good chance. Okay. How long does it take to happen? And then it's judging when you can do it.
Right.
Because it's that hard thing,
That's
I think.
quite a good process.
It's that hard thing of like, oh yeah. So for example, when I was in video editor mode a few years back, when that was like not solely, but a lot of what I did, I was editing on Cyberlink Pro Director.
Oh, that sounds wicked.
Probably haven't heard of because it's rubbish. No offense, Cyberlink. And I reckon for 2 years I was thinking should probably learn Final Cut or Premiere Pro because they're
like the industry standard.
Yeah, they're the industry standard kind of thing at that point, and they're the things I should be using. This was probably 4 years ago. So yeah, I should learn that. And it took 2 years.
Did you?
And I was thinking, yeah, that takes too long to learn. So I've got this project to do. I can't learn to use that. I've got to carry on using this. All right, I'll keep doing this shit thing. Yeah, I'll keep doing this shit thing. And then eventually, I thought I'll give this a go in Premiere Pro, and immediately the videos got about 5 to 10 times better because there were so many things I couldn't do previously, and the process was quicker. So it's one of those things that's like once you do it, it's that thing. Why didn't I do that sooner? But, I can't remember your question.
I think one of the biggest changes we've had to deal with is employing people. I think it's so different to me and you pissing about, in our parents' back room and just doing what we think.
How it's more people pissing around.
Now it's a group of us pissing around. No, but it's a very different dynamic, isn't it? And you're definitely more of the side of things that manages people within our business, but
is that because
I'm crap at it?
I'm the cool co-founder. I'm just one of the team. Oh yeah. Let's get lunch. Let's get McFlurries, everyone, because I'm part of the team and I'm one of you guys. Oh yeah, love me. It. And then you're like, oh Lloyd, we need to sack this person. Go on.
Do this disciplinary, Lloyd.
Yeah. No, we don't have to do that with our team because they're really nice.
Yeah, but I think that's been a big change we've had to deal with.
Yeah. Definitely, without a doubt. On a scale of 1 to 100,
yes,
how open to change are you?
Ooh, my honest answer, probably, I want to say 77.
Nice.
Look, but I used to be a 20.
Really?
I think it's you rub off on me because you're so open to change and you constantly push change in our business. What about you?
I definitely think you improved because you used to do that thing. You used to do that thing at work where you had to get a single task done before you could do anything else.
Yeah.
Even if it took 100 days, but I need to do this thing that's no value to the business, but I need to work out how to do it.
Yeah.
And that was a big change in I think I'm 83.5.
Cool. I'd put you at 90, I reckon.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's all right.
I really respect you and like you.
Good.
Thanks.
Do you know what I did before this podcast? We're talking about change. I went and spoke to Dad.
Right.
And I had a Zoom call with him. And I asked him his advice around how people can manage change because he's been running businesses and things for 30 years and he's done a lot of change management and he's got some really good advice.
Change management. Oh, that sounds like a job, like a title you go in and don't do anything.
No, he did a lot.
Okay, cool.
I'll have you know, I actually asked for some impressive things to say about him.
Cool.
He's actually worked with companies like the NHS to drive change within the NHS. Have you heard of the NHS?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I've felt the NHS.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
He's worked with companies like Wall, Fujifilm, Balfour BT Rail, and he's gone in there and driven change. And I actually, he gave me the three P's of driving change.
Preparation. I
did say that. He does say that for everything, but no, they're different P's, and one actually isn't a P.
Well, I would have guessed it then, wouldn't it?
No, right. Do you want to hear them?
I would love to hear them.
This is actually interesting stuff.
Good.
I thought it was interesting anyway.
Normally, when you have interesting stuff to say, you don't have to convince other people.
No, well, you didn't look that interested.
No, I'm interested.
So, P number 1, purpose.
Okay.
You must, if you're trying to drive change within a business, the people you're trying to convince to change have to understand the meaning behind the change. If I said to you, Lloyd, what would you? If I said to you, right, I want you to wear a suit from now, and I just didn't say why, you'd be like, why are you? You just wouldn't get it.
And a lot of bosses in companies and managers, I think, don't get this right.
I think you used to have one, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Make that purple. All right. Now make it green. Oh. Why? Just do it. Because I said make it green. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of managers will just say, change that. And without the understanding, you can't improve and you don't know why you're doing things, do you?
Yeah. I think it's just such a simple tip to say, if you're trying to drive change with a group of people, actually say why. We're changing this piece of software within the business because it's going to help us be more efficient, it's more cost effective, it's easier, and it's going to make all of our lives better. It's trying to think of, and then they're like, oh, okay, I get it, rather than we're changing the software, deal with it.
Yeah, because even if you say we're changing the software, and in the next month, it's going to make your life a bit harder while you learn to use it. But in the next year, you're going to have 20% more free time to do other things because it's going to be more efficient. And then you're like, oh, this makes sense for me to put time into. Interesting. Okay.
So purpose. So was that interesting?
Purpose. Yeah.
So the second P, do you want to guess what it is?
Preparation.
No. People. For any successful change to happen, you have to win the hearts and minds of the people. So it's about trying to make it fun for them, trying to incorporate people's opinions, rather than you just telling someone, go and do this change, actually saying, come on, let's all work together as a team. And because if you don't do that, then they're not going to actually make the change.
So instead of saying, you've got to use this different software, it could be that we got together, all of the team, and we were looking at different types of software to use, and we all decided that this would be a good step in the right direction. Yeah. And so then the team's already bought in and want to change.
I think just having my opinion, just having a general thing of, if you care about your team, if you care about the people within the company, then I think they're going to be more open to listening to your change. If you're being an arsehole to your team and they hate you, when you try and change something, even if it's a positive change, they're going to think, oh, he's an arsehole or she's an arsehole, I'm not going to change. Whereas if you...
What shall I do to stop them hating me?
I don't know, we can ask them if you want.
Okay, all right.
No, we won't do that now.
Okay.
There's nothing really.
Nothing really, he's perfect. See?
No, I don't think that's what Barney was saying.
That wasn't the information.
Oh, okay.
No.
Anyway, the third P, innovation.
That's an interesting use of letters there.
That's what I said to Dad when he told me. But then when I laughed, he said, "Oh, process innovation."
Okay.
And
innovation.
He said, all the thing that holds up all change is some kind of innovation within your business or within the way you do things, the processes you use, the tools you use, the strategies you use is innovation. So it's about driving innovation within the company. And they're the 3 Ps. He also made me do this weird task, which I'm going to make you do now.
Oh, okay.
And I'll describe it so listeners can see.
Great.
Right. Are you left-handed?
Yes.
You are, aren't you? Put your pen in your right hand.
And what's the purpose of this?
No, shut up.
Okay.
Write your name.
Okay. Are we innovating though?
Just write your name. Right. So Lloyd's writing his name now. How did that feel?
It felt hard.
Okay. Now do it again.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
I felt a bit easier actually.
Do it again.
I feel a bit more, okay. For the listeners, just so you know, I'm writing my name for a 3rd time here.
And how did that feel?
I actually felt a bit harder.
No, it didn't.
No, it's so much easier, that one.
I don't actually remember why Dad got me to do that, but there was a reason.
What?
I think it was about practice, but I can't remember.
You see,
What we've stumbled on here is Dan's just finding out how people learn.
Yes. Yeah. So practice.
Okay, thank you. So, listeners, I've just wrote my name 3 times, and Dan has no idea why I did it. So that was really good.
Something else he actually said was really interesting. Back in the 70s and 80s, when he was managing a big furniture manufacturing plant, there was this thing.
Oh, the 80s were great.
Yeah, you were a little sperm, weren't
you wouldn't know. You weren't born in the 80s.
Oh, you were born in 89,
honestly,
weren't you?
yeah. I was born in 89. The 80s were great.
So there was this thing called business process re-engineering, BPR. And basically,
Love an acronym.
you'd pay like these really high paid consultants to come in and
HPCs.
yeah, to tell you how to do things better, right? So the company, the plant Dad was running, it was like, I don't know, 300 people, massive plant. These high paid consultants came and said, look, if you do this like this, this and this, you're going to be more efficient and it's going to work better. They did the changes and guess what?
What?
It worked. All the data, showing the CEO, look at this change we've made, brilliant. Yeah. What do you think happened when the high paid consultants left and went away?
Did it go back to the old ways?
It did.
Ah.
It went back to the old ways. So it's about, Dad said it's about ingraining the change and coming up with processes so it continues once you've implemented it.
So
if that makes sense.
Has a long-term effect rather than...
Yeah.
Do you think, thinking about that, how things went back to how they normally did, do you think you can really change people so that they embrace change people so they embrace change? So if someone currently is in business and they're
stuck
not,
in their ways,
they're doing the same thing, they don't want to change, do you think you can actually change them, or is that just...
Well, I think you definitely can, because I'm one of those and you've made me change. I've been stuck in my ways in the past when I used to, like you said, focus on one task and not want to do anything else. But I think it depends how ingrained it is as well. Like if you've done something for 50 years and every day you've done it the same way, and then someone tries to come in and change, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to change than someone who's new to the business. And
I think some people find it much harder than others. Like my mate Johnny, he had a bank card that he could only take cash out at his particular bank branch and no other cash points, and he couldn't pay for anything on it, and he just kept that card until about 3 or 4 years ago.
Wow.
And it seemed so inconvenient for everything,
but just because
but that's what he'd always done, and he only got a pay monthly contract recently because he was like, yeah, it's fine, just go to the shop and top up when I want to. I don't know, things that to everyone else, like, yeah, that's much more convenient, so I adopted that 10 years ago.
We do that as well, though. Literally yesterday, right? We hire camera equipment sometimes, and because we use a certain camera equipment hire company and we've given our details and they've checked us out, we stick with them. Whereas there's better ones, we just can't be bothered to spend half an hour sending our driver's license in. You going to go on?
Yeah, that's not quite what happened, so it doesn't quite make sense.
Well,
but to the listeners, let's say that is what's happened.
No. Okay, but this was part of it as well. When you left, this was the discussion. So you're talking about the email address was... Do you know we actually fixed that? The whole time you're saying, it's your email address, it was your email address that it was attached to. So we've been trying all day to log into this software.
That must have been because I changed it previously.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so open to change.
What about, have you read the book Who Moved My Cheese?
We've spoken about this before.
We have spoken about it.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing where it's like, all my cheese has moved. Oh.
Yeah, I won't go into loads of detail, but honestly, it's a very short story-based book with some really interesting lessons that everyone should read about mice in a maze, and some are reluctant to change and they just stick with the same thing and they end up dying because they can't find cheese because they don't want to go and look for new cheese. Whereas some actually think, there's no cheese here anymore, we need to find more cheese to survive, and actually go and change and survive.
Yeah. Nice.
There's some good lessons in there.
Yeah. So I think we can accept change in business and in life is very positive. On the most part, there's always changes you make that won't work out.
Like your Tash.
Yeah, obviously. Terrible.
Terrible change.
And I need to now change it back.
Yeah.
But I just need to have...
Are you open to changing it back?
I'm open to, yeah.
What's the purpose of you changing your Tash?
And what people should we have involved? And
the hairdresser.
Will it be innovative? 3 Ps. Yeah, I think being open to change is 100%. I mean, it's the easiest way to grow as a person, isn't it? Realising that things I'm doing now and things I believe might be 100% the shittest thing to do. Yeah. And currently I'm like, yeah, this is good. Yeah. And thinking, yeah, I'm happy to change that. Because I think like changing your attitudes and stuff as well is a really important thing to do over time. Some people kind of are like, oh yeah, that's not who I am as a person. I think who I was as a person 10 years ago is
It's completely different,
person
yeah.
to now, because
Your values have
embraced
changed
it, yeah.
as you experience more things.
So I think that's
I think that's the biggest takeaway from this whole conversation, is to be open to change. And that next time there's change in some capacity in your life, rather than resisting it, try and be open to it and think, oh, what's the purpose of this change? What's it going to do?
That's a good point. Let's change your hairstyle.
Says you.
Huh?
You literally just got a fluffy mop on your head.
That sounds like you're resistant to change there, Dan. Doesn't it? There's a bit of resistance there.
I'm happy with my hairstyle.
Huh? I know, because you don't want change.
What's the purpose of changing it?
So other people will respect you. Okay, are we open
You're
to
being
it?
a bit more of a dictator rather than actually getting me involved. The
Are we
second
open
P.
to considering what we're going to do? We're going to look at some hairstyles that are good together, and then maybe we'll decide on a different one together, shall we? To improve things.
Yeah. No,
Yeah?
okay.
Cool. Innovation, that is. That is absolute.
Innovation.
Involving you as a person, aren't I?
Don't patronise
Yeah.
me.
The purpose of this is to gain you some respect from the viewers of the podcast.
What about the listeners?
Well, we'll tell the listeners that you've changed and you haven't got highlights anymore. Okay? So, I think that's a good way to
How
end
is that
it.
innovative though? You haven't
That
quite
is a
ticked
good
off-
way to... come on. That is a good way to end the podcast there. Dan's open to change, and we know that the next episode, or maybe the one after that, maybe he's embraced change. He's listened to his own advice, and we've changed. So, tune in next week or the week after to see if Dan has actually embraced change.